Good morning, everybody. Welcome back.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Holy Christ, the blood is loud.
Because I am God.
Like,
now I'm just an ant. What are you doing, Dan? What are you doing?
turn me down just a little.
I want my power back.
Okay.
Better?
Something like that. So anyway, been kind of a busy week for us, so
very busy
wasn't much to talk about. I was hoping to get to Detective Pikachu, but we've got a friend coming from out of town to go see it with us. I need to talk to you about that later. So we held off on going to see that, so no comment on that. Probably till Monday we can talk about something.
We can talk about it while we're playing a game.
Yeah.
Or next Saturday.
Then there's so we're just gonna do pretty much like gaming news and kind of stuff like that, and just a few things that we'd like to do in the future. So on our YouTube, I'm trying to do more uploads. Editing's done, and we're undecided about how we want to cut up the format for our 4 sword episodes. I'm kind of wanting to do like 10 to 15 minute limited episodes on each one. So if you have an opinion, please let me know. What?
Change the title?
No.
I told you I couldn't get it. We're in Smash Brothers. I was just letting you know.
Should I start smashing stuff to keep it relevant?
Start punching each other in the face.
You're the only one here who can be punching people. Because we'll get in trouble.
Would you though? Well, you were talking about naming the episodes.
No.
Separating them. Well, they're basically being chopped down so that they're more
watchable.
Yes,
in short increments.
That's what I'm considering doing. I'm asking if anyone else has an opinion, please let us know, because we can do it by level, a full raw cut, or we can actually edit it down to 10 to 15 minute intervals, so that it's more bite-sized in comparison.
I think the bite-sized ones might be better.
Well,
and then just stick them in a playlist.
I've gotten a few votes for long form.
Okay.
Well, what if you did them in like a playlist so they just automatically play the next one? That way people who didn't want to watch
then it won't automatically take you to the playlist unless you select the playlist. So if you select an individual video, it will not play the next.
Could you do both? Chop them up and then put the long form on there just as
that
is?
Might be too much.
I mean, well, the long form, you just put it up. And then you chop it up too.
Possible?
So you have the bite-sized and playlist, but then you have like the long form on there where they can click and watch the entire thing. Would that work?
We could, yeah. We'll have a lot of videos.
That's what we want. We want content up there.
A lot of videos of the same thing.
Guys.
At the skies.
Yeah. You want...
Oh, Paul.
You gotta do what you gotta do to get people to interact with it. You know?
I guess. Oh yeah. I mean, either way really works. You know, whatever people find easiest.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys have any suggestions, let us know.
About anything.
About anything. Like getting rid of Bud or changing the wallpaper.
Yeah, you can get rid of Bud, but then True will be introduced.
I'm sad, so yeah, the rupees are gonna have to go because they interfere with the chat. So
okay, there we go.
Probably put them somewhere else.
They're so good though.
Anyway, so I'm going to start doing things since we don't have enough followers. I'm going to go ahead and just start uploading the episodes when we're done onto YouTube.
Okay.
Make it easier on me because I just won't think about it later.
Okay.
Beyond that, we got Final Fantasy VII trailer, which I have pulled up. That I want to be going on.
Have you seen it yet?
Yes, I've seen one.
The new one. They just released it.
Yeah.
So it's not really a trailer. It's more of a we're telling you that this is still in production thing.
Oh yeah, someone made a joke that they give you the month for more information, but they don't give you the year. So it's like July.
Well, no, it's at E3.
I know. Well, that was the joke that they didn't put a year behind.
They never do. If it's that year, they don't. They only tell you the year if it's like the next year or later.
But with the production of this game being so long, that was the joke. Like, we're not gonna tell what year.
This game. What about Kingdom Hearts 3? That took forever. Watching this trailer, like since he's got a pause right now, I don't know how I like. It looks pretty.
Mhm.
It does. It looks really good, but at the same time, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't know. It looks like it's gonna play a lot like 15
Yeah, that was my thought too.
in terms of like just like battle system, like
Mhm.
flow.
I'm all right with that.
I
I don't need the party system as long as the story's there.
Yeah, well, I like the random encounter and turn-based style of RPG.
That's what a lot of. So that's the thing, is a lot of people aren't sure how they feel about it going to like live battles.
I'm fine with it. I've not heard anybody complaining about that.
I have though. That's
yeah,
That's
what
what I'm saying. Who?
some people that I work with, they're really disappointed. They've been saying that before this came out. They were like, I really hope it's turn based. Like,
It's that.
I want to keep that
Why is
aspect
that
of it.
there?
Because how is the what's it called?
Yeah.
Not the magic, the
right in this the screen.
what do you
Okay.
call it? Like when you bring Shinra or whatever up, or
Alright, you guys
Shiva,
ready for this?
the magic system.
Summons.
Yeah, how are summons gonna work in live?
Will
Probably
they
the
work in
same way.
15?
Yeah, the same way they work in 15.
Anyway.
I
There we go.
haven't gotten that far in 15. So
All right.
I haven't seen that.
So this is a 1:07. We're still alive trailer.
Like, it's really pretty.
I like that. Well, I don't know. I really think it's gonna look nice. Somebody joked that with the way it looks, it's gonna be a 1 terabyte game.
Have fun.
But I'm enjoying the voices so far. I didn't figure they'd go that way with Barrett personally, but I like her voice and I like his voice. Is that the same guy from Advent Children?
I don't think so.
I didn't think so.
It doesn't sound like him.
It matches him though. I think they
It's
did a good job.
close. Well, it makes sense. It's technically a younger Cloud.
I just thought of something.
So let's go back. I want to see that
Okay.
because they had that in the last one. I want to see this. I forget it's so short. So Teep is apparently going to be there during this fight. Okay, so in the original combat they showed, it was going to be more like Final Fantasy 12. You give your commands, but you have to wait for your turn to go, I think.
So like, there's like a weight bar.
Yeah, and
Are
this
you-
one, I
like that.
I don't see any AT.
I don't
see mana,
either.
unless that's what these are.
Mm,
But
I don't think so. I think that's just splitting your health in half, so you know where you're. You know what I mean? So you know when you're down to half health.
yeah, because you can see them.
no, it's your magic.
You can see somewhere.
It's
no,
your-
that yellow bars. No, that's your limit.
Yeah, that's your limit break. That blue bar is your magic. You probably get so many spells
wait,
before
yeah.
it like reloads or something.
Yeah, because you can see one pair. Was it right here? Or he's just there
Because
spamming
look,
the attack.
that little white bar below their health
Oh.
is their health.
I
The blue
see.
bar's got to be for the magic.
Gotcha.
It probably reloads after so long.
I don't
Okay.
like that idea. It's one thing if I want them to keep, it is the materia system. That's all I want from this game. Materia and story. But that's it. I thought that it was nice to see it back in action
Yeah.
and going back
One thing though is if they are going to go into live battle system or whatever, like 15, they're going to have to add a whole tutorial
Hi, Shadow.
to it.
morning.
So they have to add more content to the beginning of the game, or they'll have those have like a separate menu. Like here, you can practice your battles.
But you know it's going to be
outs-
episodic, right?
That's another thing that I really don't like.
I do.
I hate
'cause
episodic
It's going to allow them to
games.
explore the entirety of the story.
Just makes it so they can make.
Well, I mean, if each game is $40 or 40 hours, that's
But will they all be? Will each episode be 40 hours?
I would assume so.
I don't believe so. I think it's gonna
There's
be like.
more than enough content in that
I
game.
think it's gonna be like Resident Evil.
It's going to be like the Hobbit movies.
That's not.
It's going to be spread out so far to where they're all crap.
Where you have to wait.
Well, they
so
injected a bunch of crap into that movie too.
it's good.
That's yeah.
It's good as far as like it gives them time to kind of work on it as you're playing it still. But then you're gonna get to those points where you're gonna not play it for a while and then.
I don't know.
I don't like that idea.
When I play the game now, I feel like it blazes through the story. Like Midgar, I wouldn't mind spending more time there, so you understand why you care about what's going on.
I don't think that you're gonna spend more. I don't think each episode's gonna be 40 hours.
I do, because they said it's going to be. They said somewhere I've seen it alluded to 3 episodes.
Yeah, but I think they're gonna be like the Resident Evil episodes. When
They're not going to release a 20-hour game for $60 every time. And the Resident Evil episodes amounted up to $40.
That's the thing, though, is people will pay for it.
You're very pessimistic.
I'm just saying. Games have been burdening people lately. Like that's how I feel about games now.
I'm glad. But
that's my opinion. I'm giving you my opinion. I don't think each episode's
so bitter.
I don't think each episode's going to be 40 hours.
I do. I think that there's enough content there and that they'll do it. Because if they don't do it, they're going to tarnish their own reputation.
Exactly. That's what I'm telling you.
Cares.
They're going to ruin it. They're taking something that people really want, and I feel like they're going to ruin it.
Well, ruining the game and ruining themselves are two different things.
I think they're going to do both.
Wow. Okay. That's a very strong opinion.
So we should mark this down as a prediction.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Laura predicts the failure of Square Enix. She's gonna be taking a task on that.
We should,
they've already.
We should paste it up on the wall and post it.
They already ruined Kingdom Hearts, so why wouldn't they ruin Final Fantasy VII?
I didn't think they ruined Kingdom Hearts.
I don't think they did nearly as good as they possibly could have at the time that they were allotted. The gameplay and the hours that I put into that game were not enough to verify the time I spent waiting for it.
Disney have a lot of input in the making of that game.
It felt like it with many of the worlds.
With worlds.
So maybe that was part of the issue where they couldn't really expand because Disney kept putting their
because they still have
like
their other
Frozen
worlds.
is nothing but an extended music video with a lot of.
That's what I mean. Maybe
the actual story of the game though hardly went anywhere.
Well, maybe because they were so focused on the Disney parts that they were kind of lacking on.
That's even worse. That just means that people like that. That doesn't say that the Final Fantasy VII is going to be different.
I thought the story was fine. I would have enjoyed it being more fleshed out, but I was glad to get closure on many things.
What would save it for I don't know. That's hard to say because I haven't looked into much of how they're actually making it. So I think episodes are a bad idea. I really do.
I don't.
I think it's a terrible idea.
I think that they split the content. Like if the first game ended at Calm,
well,
right outside of Midgar, and Midgar was a chance to actually explore the whole game, I think it'd be fine.
It's going to come down to how much each episode costs, how much gameplay you're going to get out of each episode, and how many episodes they're going to be total.
I mean, they're kind of playing it off like it's the disc system, like the original.
Yeah, 3 discs, 3 episodes.
Yes, but you're going to have to wait for the episodes.
That's the bad part. So
okay, here's your first disc now. You can have your second disc in a month when you finish that one.
Like, what I would do is I would just...
It's probably going to be yearly releases, my guess.
That's even worse.
I would just wait until all of them are out and get the collection and be done with it. Like, I would not buy them.
I won't wait.
I will, because that's...
See, I don't like that. I hate that. I hate that business model.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I won't wait because I want to see what the game is like and if it's something I'd like to continue with. Because if I buy the whole collection and feel like I'm burned, because odds are the whole collection is going to be far more expensive than buying them one at a time, at least initially.
I'm just going to watch reviews at first. I don't know. It feels like games just nowadays are like.
I just want to hold out hope for that game.
It feels like they don't put enough into the games anymore. Like it feels like they're just like, oh, well, this is good enough. People are gonna buy it, and they just push it out.
I'm a dissenter, but I enjoyed 15.
It's all fluff and graphics.
Yeah, it's all fluff and graphics. Like that's fine. That's pretty. I like it. But at the same time, like I said, there's something about episodic games that I just do not like. Like I said, it depends on how much gameplay you're gonna get out of it, how much each episode's gonna be. If they're gonna,
I've not played many of them.
If they're gonna
have you? I've not played many. Have you?
No, because I don't want to. Because I don't like the idea of it. Because I read when Resident Evil came out, I read that people were only playing it for like 4 hours, and they were paying $20 for each episode.
No, it was not $20 an episode.
How much was it?
It was like
$40.
$5 an episode.
For Resident Evils?
For Revelations 2, it was $5 an episode.
Sure?
For the whole game added up to $50, I think. Because I was watching it from the very beginning because I wanted it. The only reason I didn't want to buy episodes.
Why did they do that? Why did they?
Because Revelations wasn't as strong of a series, and it went back to more the horror style gameplay of the first one.
Which is good.
Well, newer players didn't like it, so.
No, Shadow asked, do you think the episodes came from the reception of the Kingdom Hearts series?
No.
I don't think so. I'm really not sure why they went with that. Like I said, it might be because of like the discs. Like they might be trying to kind of replicate that.
I don't think that's what they're going for. I think that there's enough content in the Final Fantasy VII universe now to expand everything.
But here's the part:
before Crisis, with Crisis Core,
are
with
they gonna
Dirge of
start?
Cerberus.
Are they gonna start messing with the main storyline and adding extra stuff in because it's gonna make a lot of people mad?
As long as the core of the story is there, I don't mind if they add in content from the other games. In fact, I would welcome it because I enjoyed Crisis Core. I enjoyed Dirge of Cerberus. I enjoyed Advent Children. Like if they could even expand beyond the end, that'd be kind of neat too. Maybe let me play through Advent Children as a DLC. That'd be okay too.
I don't know. We'll kind of have to see how it goes, and like more announcements. Like as it gets closer.
I don't know. As
like
far
how
as
they
battle
announce
systems, I'm happy with the battle system. I don't know that I'm happy. Actually, it feels more like a move towards Crisis Core, their battle system. I don't know if you played that one. That was very much Kingdom Hearts inspired.
Okay.
Is in fact it was the same team that did the Kingdom Hearts.
This looks like a Kingdom Hearts like Final Fantasy 15 game.
I enjoy the look of it. I like the realistic large environments. And I'll always have Final Fantasy VII to go back to on every single console I own. So I don't have any shortage of Final Fantasy VII in my life. Even if the game flops, the classic's still there to get. It's still got my back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I'm at. So I remain hopeful, knowing that even if it fails, I've still got my favorite one to go back to.
Don't get me wrong. Like I don't want this game to fail. Like I don't.
That's
like,
what it sounds like.
I'd like to see it. But the way that they're talking about doing it and just what I'm already seeing, I don't.
They must give some kind of crap because apparently development was in a lot of trouble and they pulled the reins on a lot of things.
I don't know. Like I was super excited about Kingdom Hearts 3.
Well, we didn't even hear
and
much
then,
about that.
But all those they all looked fantastic. Everyone was super stoked for it, and then it came out, and the story was empty. Like, they left out a whole bunch of stuff. Like, there was just so many holes that they left. And I don't know. I feel like they're just going to get so caught up in making it look good that they're going to forget.
Now, the good news is this time they didn't spend half the time on the game in their own engine, is my understanding. It's going to be Unreal 4 from the get-go. So,
like I said, we'll see how it turns out. I guess if we start getting closer, once they start putting up more trailers and once they officially announce more about it at E3. And kind of get a better feel for it, maybe they'll give us some more insight on how long each of those episodes are gonna be. Like I said, that's the other thing. Like I said, I don't like breaking up my gameplay. If I wanna play a game, I don't want to play part of it, and then put it down and come back to it for the next year. Like I absolutely despise that. I already hate it with movies. I get it with movies. No one wants to sit in a theater for 8 hours.
Yeah.
But for
not
a game,
everyone wants to play 120 hours of gameplay.
But the thing is, you don't have to. You can take it as you want. But with the episodes, you're forced to wait. You don't have the option to keep playing. They say, no, you have to stop here because we don't have the others out yet for you.
I think if they do the story right, they can do that. Because that game is written almost in chapters. So.
But that's, I don't like that idea of gameplay, though, is what I'm telling you. Like, I personally don't. It's fine if other people are okay with it. It's just my personal opinion. I don't like having to put something down for that long and then come back to it once they release the next one. I want to play it in increments as I see fit for myself. I don't want to be stopped and said, hey, well, you can't play this because we don't have it released yet. See what I'm saying?
I guess.
Like, I don't like being told, well, you can't play this now because we said so. We don't have this content out for you.
It's like someone ripping up a chapter book and throwing you half of it. Go, here, read this. I'll give you the
next year.
Some books I could do that with. I'm indifferent as long as I get the
I don't feel like the story.
I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
I don't feel like
well, that's not the same.
I don't feel like
you
the
didn't
story.
Make it.
I don't feel like the story in Final Fantasy VII is long enough.
You're literally destroying a product. That's a whole different idea.
Okay, all right.
I don't feel like the story is long enough to do that without dragging out parts unnecessarily. That's the other thing I'm afraid of, is to make it longer. Are they going to drag out certain parts? Are they going to make things where it takes forever to get through just so they can give you the content?
Yeah.
That was cut from the game.
The original game?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But here's the thing, is that what they're going to put in, or are they literally just going to fill it with fluff?
You have to grind for 15 hours.
It really comes down to what they fill it with, how what it's going to be. I don't know.
I'm a world explorer, so if they build a world where I can run around and talk to everybody, I'm kind of okay with that because that's just the way that I am. So we sit on two sides of the fence here.
Yeah, Shadow was saying, I remember in the Telltale series, they cited releasing chapters in Necromancer because it kept people talking. Well, I mean, this is Final Fantasy VII. I mean, people are going to talk about it forever. It doesn't matter.
Well, they're taking a huge gamble with episodes anyway, because if the first episode tanks, it's not going to be good for Square. I'm not saying Square's going to go under if they screw Final Fantasy VII up.
Oh, people are going to be...
they might get pissed, but
they might get burned alive.
I don't see them going under, though.
People are going to be going to their headquarters with pitchforks and fire.
Because they own too many studios to necessarily fail over one game.
TV show and building hype until the next... See, I hate that. I don't like building hype. I want to just play it all. I don't know. Like I said... TV's it's fine. Games, I don't feel like games should be that way.
I'm trying to get my chat back up.
Yeah, I can relate, but I still don't know.
I understand. It keeps the talk going, but like Steven said too, like if it flops, then people are going to be talking about how bad it is.
That's right. So there will be no other episodes.
No, they'll still have to come up with the episodes.
Well, I wonder.
I'm sure they'd already be.
I mean, they gave Final Fantasy 13 3 strikes.
And then it's going to be a whole... Oh my god, don't even talk about that game.
I never was introduced to
it. Says the girl who played them.
I didn't play... No, I didn't.
You played 1 and 2.
No, I didn't play 2. I didn't even finish 1.
You played 2.
I didn't.
I watched you play it.
No, you didn't. I hardly made it through it at all.
What were you doing that time I was watching you? Nothing?
You weren't watching.
Yeah.
That was like the one time I played it, and then I was like, I'm done.
Oh. You're talking about how it was an alright game.
The story was okay in the first one, and then they ruined it. That's why I stopped playing it. Because it just got stupid.
I just didn't like the linearity.
No, the linearity was terrible. The gameplay was awful.
And I could get around the linearity if the Gestalt system didn't piss me off.
Yeah. There were parts of the game I hated. And
I want to be a completionist, so I aspire to do the most that I can. But when they put that system where you could switch your system or switch your role in the party around, and then you could level each role individually, that's when everything went out for me. Because I was like, I'm gonna want to sit here and grind at every level.
That's what they did in Bravely Default, right?
Not necessarily. No, well,
kind of like that, where you switched your class and then you level.
Yeah, but at least you could speed the game up, and each battle
didn't
depend on you having all these different classes.
Oh, okay. So this was that's like the alpha
you needed your
version
center just to break down the enemy. Okay. So you could Gestalt him, and then when you Gestalt him, you had to shift into essentially became a berserker mode, so that everybody could just ram attacks up its ass.
Okay, all right.
It became a very just a huge grind. There was no place to explore. It was literally just you walking down the same hallway back and forth,
which is fine to me. I just didn't enjoy I just didn't find everything else. You can do that, but you gotta have a compelling reason to continue. Yeah. And for me, the reason died out quick.
It did. No, I didn't finish 13, and then I started...
7, I don't think it'll have that same effect for me, even if they put me in a hallway until we get to... I'm hoping, here's my hope, is that once you get out of Midgard, it becomes open world again. I would be welcome to an open world like 15 and 7 if I got to explore the world of Gaia in a friggin' car or on a chocobo. I'm down with that. It'd have
to be a chocobo.
I don't care. I'm down with that. That'd be so much fun. And then,
wait, there was a car.
In what?
7.
8.
7? There were cars in 7.
You drive one when
the party's driving the car and Kaz on the motorcycle with this giant sword.
I don't really consider that a car because it's
a van.
That was a military vehicle. That was not a car.
It was a car. No. That's still a car.
It was something.
Put down in the chat below our military vehicle's car.
Yeah, I remember driving.
That was far too big for a car, and a military vehicle would most likely fall into the class of truck or SUV.
Getting the high wind in an open world is what Shadow said.
Yes, that's another thing.
That would be awesome.
So yes, there is a way to save.
Just imagine if you crashed it.
Why would you add that?
I don't know. I would.
No.
If I was a game developer, like, well, man, you just ran it into a tree. What did you expect was gonna happen?
That'd be such a waste of time.
It'd be funny.
It would be funny.
It'd be realistic.
I'd leave that up to modders to do that crap, but I would never plan that into a game like 7.
I would. I think it'd be hilarious.
Oh.
I'd be a great game developer.
Anyway.
I'm gonna piss somebody off.
So with that said, We want to, because we're about halfway. So let's start with the microtransactions. That's really the one I'm interested in.
Okay.
So apparently there is a proposed legislation in the Missouri. Was it a Missouri senator, right? He proposed it.
Oh.
Okay, well, Shadow made the official vote. It's not a car. I'm going to say it's a car anyway. It's still a car. It's got wheels. It moves.
Okay.
Okay, now you're going too far. Just because it has wheels doesn't necessitate a car.
It's a car.
So unicycle's a car.
Yep.
I got you. Unicycle has a wheel. You said wheels. You broke your own definition.
Well, what if you get one of those motorized unicycles, one that fits between your legs and you stand on it?
I would never put a motor like that between my legs.
It's an electric motor.
Okay, here we are. I'm not. No.
So this is starting in Missouri, huh?
And no, it's from a Missouri senator.
Yeah,
Josh Hawley.
Which is surprising. I wouldn't figure it would.
Missouri senator is proposing.
Yeah, I wouldn't have figured it would have started. I figured it would have started on one of the coasts.
Well, because gambling's already
because the coasts are where all that money's made for gaming, you know.
So here's the thing is, like, vaguely reading it the other day was basically it's talking about. Steven was concerned about it banning, I think, like DLC.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't include that. It's basically like the microtransactions, things that cause like addictive like behavior, like gambling, for items that are either that opening those boxes and saying, oh well, I want more, I need more,
or
and like
pay $5 and get another turn.
Like the pay to win kind of things where it's developing those addictive behaviors in kids. It's feeding on that fact that they're naive about it. They're like they don't know that self-control.
Mm-hmm.
And then it comes down to it gets to the point where if mom doesn't buy it for you, then they start getting into they try finding other ways to do it.
Kids have always been taking their parents' credit cards.
I never did that.
I'm just saying, kids have always been doing it, so they'll find a way if they want it. But
they'll definitely find ways. Or they'll go to their friends who are willing to do it, and then you run into a whole bunch of other troubles. Like, then honestly, it's kind of like, I know it's kind of cliche to say it, but it's one of those slippery slopes. You start somewhere, it becomes a habit, and then you just keep doing it. So later on down the road, when they get older, they can get to that point where, hey, I'm gonna start stealing money from my mom, my friends, other people that I don't know. That's when pickpockets start, because I need money. Like, I don't have money for all the stuff that I want. I'm just gonna go take it because that's what I've been doing my whole life. It literally turns into a slippery slope. Like it really does.
That's changed the whole frame of of what we're talking about here is microtransactions, not theft. They're not doing it to deter theft.
But they're doing it to
that
keep
is part of it.
That is part of it. I just said that. It's that habit that it's building for kids.
Yeah, but your habit based solely on the premise that the kid is a thief is what.
Well, no, that's part of it though. It could create that kind of environment.
I think most of it is kids just don't understand they're spending money.
Yeah, and then
that becomes a problem.
It gets embedded, and then when they're older, it's still embedded.
I know, but that doesn't make you a thief just because.
No, but that was just one aspect of it though that we were talking about.
Yeah.
So it's just something that could happen. It's something that that is a concern in that matter. It comes down to it that kids will do it.
We'll spend money, but I don't see the thief argument as being a very strong argument. In personal, I think that it's more likely that they become addicted to spending money. That instant reward sensation.
I work retail, and there's a lot of smaller kids that come in and try to steal stuff.
I think that's just a general thing about kids. I don't think that has anything to do with loot boxes. They may correlate together, but I don't think that one necessarily causes the other.
Well, when addicts get desperate, they'll steal.
I mean, yeah.
So in a roundabout way, it can create a thief.
It
could, but I don't think they're necessarily related to each other directly.
I mean, Shadow's right. Like collecting addiction, or collecting an addiction's it is like a slippery slope. Like it's always going to be out there. But this is something that's like, I don't know.
I'm torn.
They lure kids in really well. Like at least with loot boxes, or with physical things like the trading cards, like Pog, like Beanie Babies, usually Pogs. Those are something that you had to go to the store and buy these. The second those kids you get a card in there.
You rack up
kids.
hundreds of
Oh
dollars.
yeah, you can spend tons of money. It's not something physical that you're getting
I
either.
spend money on transactions.
Oh,
At least in my case, I can say that I did that knowing it was a dumb thing to do.
Oh, I've done
And
it
so
too.
it was my own problem to deal with. With kids, I can see it differently. But my view is this: I see no reason to ban loot boxes. I don't think that they're necessarily a problem. I don't think it's the government's problem to shield us from things that could become a problem. And that by that meaning like things that we could internally, like say if it's a drug, I don't think that they should necessarily shield us from it, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
But there should be limits. That is, kids should not be able to play those games.
But a lot of them are like free.
Like,
Of course they're gonna.
Like Fortnite.
But
is-
that
is
falls
one
on the
of them.
parents.
I was gonna say, who's gonna enforce that?
Because the problem
here-
I think that's happening in the United States that is tied to loot boxes is parents
Don't care.
aren't watching their kids. They say they're watching their kids, but if you define watching your kids as in
No,
you
here's
have an eye on what they're doing, you're reaching into the world every now and then, whether or not they have privacy, the kids don't necessarily have a legal right to privacy, a legal expectation under their parents. And that it is your responsibility to guide your kids down the right pathway.
here's the
And
thing.
if you're not following them, then you're allowing them to grow bad behaviors. You need to be watching. It's like when you watch a flower bed. You look for that weed, you need to pull it out before it becomes a problem. So with your kids, you need to say, that's a behavior I'm not going to tolerate. This ends now.
So
Now, if it goes beyond that, then the conversation changes. But in the scope of this, I think that with loot boxes, it falls to the parents to take care of these things. Yes, you're going to have deviant kids that get into their mom's purse and things like that. But I think that to flat out ban it because some parents won't watch their kids is a problem.
here's the problem. It's not that. So parents are watching their kids. They're not raising their kids.
Well, I mean,
So I know, like-
so then let me clarify my argument. I'm equating the two for that argument.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just saying that's a better way to say it. They're like people are like, oh yeah, I'm watching my kids. Yeah, you're watching your
Yeah,
kids.
you're giving them a phone and
Yeah,
saying,
you're watching your
it's
kid,
done.
but you're not raising your child. It becomes this whole thing. Like there's way more we could get into.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but with the warnings and everything,
I mean, warnings. I mean, even the ESRB does nothing to stop kids from getting Grand Theft Auto.
they do tell you whenever you download games that they do contain microtransactions in them.
I mean, that's one thing. Like, where at least with microtransactions, I applaud Nintendo. Apparently, Fire Emblem, they were getting too many transactions, and Nintendo's like, you guys need to knock this crap out. Stop pushing the transactions on people. You're taking it too far. So if Nintendo should be a character reference there,
Yeah.
I feel that Nintendo should be a
Wait, what
character reference
causes?
there.
the microtransactions causes.
Oh.
That's very funny.
That might.
I mean, the very,
You never know.
everything does.
Everything
But,
causes care. Every time you
I
hit
don't
that button,
Again, I
you get a
think-
little bit more.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think the loot boxes come down to personal responsibility,
Yeah, it does.
and we shouldn't have to regulate everything like that.
No,
Now,
I don't.
it's complicated, but I think that if we don't start treating each other like adults with responsibility, there will be no expectation left when we're old and dying. People will literally do whatever the hell they want, and they're going to say, you didn't stop me from doing it. They will take no responsibility into their own hands. I think that's what's happening with a lot of the generation behind me, and I'm not dogging them. I think a lot of them are great people. But I see that, like, you see it on college campuses. Nobody wants to be responsible for the things that they do or they see in their life. They just want to be mad that somebody's done something to offend them. It's like, I'm sorry, that's going to be life. Life is not fair. Life
isn't
will
kind.
kick you when
Yeah.
you're down. It doesn't matter if you're
Life doesn't
if
care.
you're within an inch of death. Life will kick you anyway again because it's life. It's indiscriminate. It just does what it does. If anything, it's chaos. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't strive to be good to one another, but I'm saying we need to take responsibility for our own actions and behaviors. You can't say, you didn't stop me from doing this, so my behavior's bad, or you said this, I reacted this way, it's your fault. We need to take responsibility for the things we're doing. If I have accumulated thousands of dollars of debt in microtransactions, you need to own that. Now, if you own that and you're in the steps of fixing that problem, I think, that again becomes another conversation. Then what
Yeah.
can we do to help you?
I do think as far as looking at this really quick,
I think pay to win should go
the
just out of principle.
the pay. That's what I was getting ready to say. The pay to win should definitely be a thing that doesn't exist, because that does invoke it. Like it's okay to spend a little bit of money on like skins. Like if you have the extra money, if that's what you want to do, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because at that point you're not getting anything like super extra. It's like, oh, I get this cool skin. That's about it. But those things like where it's pay to win, or they're like, it's iffy with the limited time ones too, because that's still kind of that's not pushing pay to
I
win.
think you're arguing a different thing
What?
for me.
Why?
No, go ahead and finish your thought.
Oh.
But you're arguing a different reason against pay to win.
Why?
No, go ahead and finish your thought.
Oh, well, you shouldn't have stopped me then, because I lost my train of thought.
You're talking about how limited time.
I like the limited time, like, because that's where it becomes hairy. Is like whenever you're on that crunch, like you gotta buy it now, or you're never gonna get this. Like I said, the pay to win though also like having that incentive just drives people to spend that money.
Which is crazy, because that could also be helpful, those timed games, because if you have like 3 turns or like a 15-minute window before you have to pay or watch an ad or whatever, that would give you like a break time. Like, all right, I've had my time with this game, now it's time to do something else.
Yeah.
So that could be a positive. Like, all right, I've had my fun with it for now.
I think you guys are defining timed differently.
Or people just get addicted and just
so
keep,
you're defining time.
It's like putting money into.
You're defining time as time access to a game, correct?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's not what she's saying.
Oh.
So.
But I get what he's talking about.
I know, but I'm trying to clarify both points for somebody that's listening.
Okay.
Because you're both talking to each other, but you're talking about 2 different things.
Oh God.
So you're arguing that I'm arguing just against pay to win, period.
Oh yeah, pay to win shouldn't be a thing at all.
No, I think personally, but if we're going to talk legally, there's no problem with pay to win. If you want to put it in your game, go screw your game up. I just don't like pay to win because I think it throws balance off in games.
It absolutely does.
Now, if you're talking like an MMO,
makes me not want to play.
If you're talking like an MMO, I'm torn on pay to win, because sometimes I don't have hundreds of hours to sink into an MMO to catch up with all these bastards that have been playing for 13 years. So if I want to buy the latest armor set so I don't have to do the work but I can enjoy the story, I don't mind that kind of thing. That's different to me. Usually
those aren't really the pay to win ones. Like those don't even give you like the highest tiers that you can get. They just get you things that can get you through.
Well, there are games like Warframe is based on that. You can buy armor and weapon sets because the entire game is a free-to-play model. It's like EVE is technically free to play in its own essence. If you play enough, you can earn enough in-game currency to buy credits. And that's how the game keeps itself thriving, is players that want to make a lot of money quickly will actually spend like $50-$60 on 15-month or 30-day tokens, and they'll sell them for like $1 billion ISK in the game. And then they have a ton of money to do crap. That's what I did when I started playing. I bought up a bunch of month tokens. I sold them to people just so I'd have enough money so I'd go out there and play with Danny. And if somebody just decided to be an ass and blew my ship up, well, I got enough money to prepare myself. But I have that luxury, and that's what I was paying for. That's what I mean. Like, pay to win doesn't necessarily put you on top, but
it helps. Shadow was saying like the only issue is that pay to win makes businesses money. I mean, it's true. It does rule.
But that's a good thing in some cases. Like and I had this conversation with a Twitch stream that I watched the other day about the viability of a game. Games have gotten so big and expensive now, it's no longer profitable to just release the game. Not in the same sense that it was like on if you built Chrono Trigger today and you sold 1 million copies at $60, I guarantee you it would make a ton of money. Now, relative to the amounts of money these companies are used to pulling in, probably not, but it would make a ton of money relative for its cost of investment at this time. And then you look at the cost of developing, I mean, that could be a game of maybe 50 developers to build that. Games now have 200, 300 employees working on a game, have 5 different studios working on the same game. I mean, to justify the cost of paying your average coder at least $50,000 a year, and many make more than that, you have to sell more than just the game at $60. At least in Japan, they've got a fluctuating price
Yes,
system that can be anywhere between $60 and $120 for the
I
game.
wouldn't mind paying a little bit more for games sometimes, depending on the game.
But that still doesn't address the root of the problem. The studios that are making these games have become too big for their britches, and then to make ends meet and still make profits and pay everybody, they got to do that. And I think that's also where you see all these everyone's getting upset about contract workers in coding. We're only here for a year, and they're upset about it with no benefits. Well, I'm sorry, you're an adult. You signed the contract. Like, I feel for you in an empathy way that, like, I wish you could get more, and I wish they would give you benefits as the company, but you shouldn't sign the contract if it doesn't meet the needs of your life. I mean, and coding apparently is a saturated field, is what I'm understanding. So it's like art.
Anything in that kind of field is always going to be oversaturated.
But it's super saturated right now. So as far as a developer's concerned, you're a dime a dozen. They don't have to give you anything because somebody else will come and take their crappy offer.
It comes down to, like I said,
if it were my business, no, I'd try to do better personally.
Well, yeah, it comes down to, like, things like that, like with it being oversaturated. Like, yeah, I understand people want to, like, pursue their dreams, but there's times where, you know, it's not viable. You have to come to the life consideration of,
you have to accept, am I happy with these 6
is this worth it? Is it worth giving up, like, everything that I have to do what I want to do?
Am I going to bleed tooth and nail into this?
Yeah. Am I going
for a little return?
Yeah. Am I going to literally be living, like, you know, do I want to have that security blanket of knowing that I've got a secure job, or do I want to have this wishy-washy kind of contract deal, but have my dream job?
It kind of sucks though to have to be like, man, I want to write for Blizzard and put something immortally into their game.
You almost have to justify the business with add-on content, yeah, kind of.
That's where I was driving the point home, is to even give these people any wages, is that you have to add DLC. That's what it becomes to. Like, everyone's so upset about DLC and add-in content like skins and crap. I'm like, if it's these big, huge games, that's where they have to make their money. Otherwise, they're going to pretty much break in. And then if, God forbid, EA gets a hold of your studio, they'll just shut you down if it doesn't do well enough.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that business model either.
Yeah, that's how it is, though. There's nothing we can really do about it.
The system is like
I said,
it's become too big for its own britches, like you say.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I said, it just comes down to the point. Like I said, sometimes you got to make tough decisions. Like that's
the argument I was making the other day. They're gonna be. To me, it feels like the video game market is heading for another crash, and I don't mean like in a literal the whole market's gonna implode, but people are fluffing out so much crap that's all the same. People are going to get disinterested in games, and as they do this, microtransactions are going to become even more attractive, and that's going to push even more people away, and they're inadvertently going to cave their whole industry in.
They're basically digging their own graves.
And I think Nintendo, if there's going to be a leader from the bigger companies, Nintendo's going to be the one, because they carry the idea of fun gameplay. Yes, they're expensive. And yes, nobody likes the way they handle copyright, but beyond those things, they make games for fun first.
That's kind of where,
or at least I hope it stays that way. It was that way under Iwata.
That's kind of how I feel. I mean, that might be why I'm a little feel the way I do about those games coming out. Is because I'm already getting to that point where I'm getting burned out. Like,
yeah,
I'm getting to that point where
before you let me, and behind Nintendo will be our indies. Indies are going to be the saviors of games.
Oh, yeah. They already are, most of them.
Because their games are much more fun, they're much more affordable, and their studios aren't huge, and they can afford to pay their people. At least I hope they can, because they make the fun games that I play.
Most people just make them like with a small team.
And I think that's the way gaming should return to: lean, mean teams.
It comes to the point where you're right. It is, if it's starting to feel more corporate. It doesn't feel like it's
and corporate's not bad if you can retain Nintendo's love of the
game.
But
they don't. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why whenever, like I said, like especially after, I think it really hit home after Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. Like after I played that, like I'm so disinterested in games. Like now that even though Final Fantasy VII's been, they're like, oh, here's another trailer. I'm just like, eh. Or before, I'd be like, oh, this is fantastic. I'm super excited. I can't wait. Now I'm just kind of like, I really don't. Like, it's neat. It looks pretty, but I'm so burnt already that I can't bring myself to become excited about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to have that feeling, because it was like Fallout 76 too. That one looked really cool for a while. I did get a little stoked for that, and then after it came out, it flopped, and I was
No,
like,
I haven't heard anything about that.
yeah, that's because it flopped. Nobody liked it.
Like completely, like no one's in there anymore.
Probably not.
Wow. That's crazy.
It just gets to that point. Like I said, I think I'm already to that point where, like, when Nintendo releases something, I'm genuinely excited about it. Like, because they care about their games, and it shows.
Yeah.
But anytime anything else comes out for any other studio, unless it's like an indie game, like the Cadence of Hyrule, I'm super excited for, which is coming out on Switch. But anything else, I'm disinterested.
It's time to hunker down and dig into your backlog.
It's getting to that point, like I said, where I'm just like...
Actually, I was starting to get excited about that. I was thinking I might check out this next console generation, unless Final Fantasy VII's in it. I might pick it up for Halo 6, or Infinity. But beyond those things, I might just check out and be like, I got a backlog of 120 games here. And I was looking at that. Shadow shows concern of DLC with Nintendo and them moving into that. I think the DLC is fine.
Because they
give you quality DLC.
Yeah, here's the thing too, is with the Nintendo, it wasn't detrimental to the game. It didn't change really a whole lot. Like, it added to it. And it was really cheap.
God, it felt like old expansion packs in some cases.
It did. No, it really did. Like, that's the thing.
When an expansion pack meant a new story.
Yeah, well, yeah, because, I mean, it did add, like, extra story, but it wasn't anything that you'd be missing otherwise.
And it added truly hard dungeons.
Yeah, like, it added extra challenges.
If you'd already mastered Breath of the Wild, there's nothing that's going to get in
your way. Like, it added extra challenges, it added a couple extra things, it was at a reasonable price, and it came long after it came far after the game had released. And like I said, 9 months, that's pretty far after a game release.
These days, anyway.
But like they didn't zip you on the main game to give you that DLC.
And they gave you a bunch of content to chase.
Didn't they give you that motorcycle?
I haven't unlocked it yet because I haven't done.
But that was DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on the deal. It's pretty fun. But it doesn't it just makes it a little bit.
And that game is insanely big enough without it. I've already put 120 hours in it, and I've not even started a DLC.
Like I said, and the DLC is pretty, like, it's pretty meaty.
I was like 90 hours in before I actually went to the end of the game. Because it's just fun to run around and do stupid things.
Oh yeah, we know you're not trying to diss the DLC.
Oh, no, yeah. But you brought up a valid point. People, then that was my point when I was saying I'm concerned that without Iwata at the handle,
they are dipping into it a little bit.
What will happen? I think that's a necessary growth.
It's possible.
Because they are publicly traded, but... I hope that they retain that same essence they had with him. Like, if a game tanks or something tanks, that the board of directors and the CEO take a cut in pay. So instead of slicing off employees, like an infected limb, that would be a structure in gaming I'd like to see. I'd like to see EA say, all right, everybody on the board here, we're taking a pay cut because these guys screwed up. Or not even like these guys screwed up because we screwed up. Take the ownership for your company. If you're going to be at the head of the company when they do something bad, you can't say, well, I was delegating to Bob over here, so it's Bob's fault. And you say, as a company, we botched this one. Shareholders, no, we're taking a cut for this year, this much off the top. And employees, we're going to keep you around. That's what this cut's for. And I'm not saying that you could keep hundreds and hundreds of people doing that way, but if you kept your studios lean enough, you could keep enough of them. And then, even with today's like super mega corporations like EA owning everything, I don't even know that a pay cut into the top CEO salary would even dent the studios that they're trying to save. That's another thing that I mean is like they're too. God, I hate that idea. It's too big to fail, but eventually they're so big that once the right once the right log falls on the bottom, it's all going to topple down. But then you've got people up top that seemingly aren't willing to address the actual problems themselves. I think that companies should start becoming more lean. Like on employees, and I hate to say that people should be laid off, but if you're going to want to support games like that and everyone doesn't like the idea of being a contract worker, then you've got to reduce employee size and scale your games back. Either visually, fidelity, so either say we're going to have we're going to have all right visuals for today and some awesome coding for network play, or we're going to have an awesome single player experience with no network play, so that you can shift the balance.
Or we might get to the
or focus to different parts of the project.
Like getting back to the where games didn't
or hell, AI can write netcode now.
Like where it took longer for games to come out. But you got these good, at least at the time, they were good quality games. Yeah, you had to wait quite a while for the remake, but at least you knew you weren't going to be disappointed with it.
Where? With who?
Just other games. Every time a developer would release a game, it wasn't like they had a whole bunch of their hands in different pots. They were more they focused more.
I said, don't even get me started on 10-cent games. 10-cent games out of China.
Oh,
they're one of the biggest developers in the world. And actually, they're really huge. They have their hand in everything in China, but they own 40% of what is it? What's that company?
I have no idea.
They just put out their own store.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know. I just
not Anthem, but Axis or whatever, that game that's come out, the free-to-play shooter.
Apex.
Yeah, they own that company.
Honestly, I played that game and it was okay.
Yeah, shooters in general need to die down for a little bit, I think.
It was just a rehash.
I think shooters are fun. It's got to be the right.
Yeah, it's getting watered down.
But I don't play Call of Duty, so it doesn't water down to me. I don't play Call of Duty. I've dropped out of PUBG.
That's
so
what
shooter
Apex
to me
is
like Halo.
Apex it feels like a mix between PUBG and that's what it feels. It's a battle royale.
PUBG meets Fortnite meets flying.
Meets Paladins.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is. I don't know. I played it for a little while and it was fun for the first 30 minutes and I was like,
It wouldn't
I'm
load
done.
on my computer, so I said the nay no.
Oh, you're not missing anything. It wasn't that great, but I don't know. Comes down to just all
state of games is a mess.
It is, and I try not to be pessimistic about it, but that's honestly why I am.
And no one solution will fix all of it. There's going to be trade-offs for every solution you take. If you cut down the amount of workers you put into games, quality's going to go down. Maybe some of it will go up, but other parts will go down. And then there's going to be more people that are in the job market looking for work in that area.
So that's where you come out. It's not going to be a win-win situation. Somebody's going to lose in the end.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, that's what's going to have to happen. Somebody's going to have to give
or let go.
It's going to have to be one or the other. It can't happen both ways.
The system of making games, the way I see it now, just won't keep itself afloat much longer.
Apex took the gameplay from Titanfall. Are they part of the same universe? I didn't look that far into
Apex is part of Titanfall? I didn't think that was the same company.
Universe. He said it is. Oh no, they took the gameplay from Titanfall. They're part of the same universe.
I didn't know that. And I enjoyed Titanfall for
I did.
an hour. You didn't play Titanfall.
I played a demo.
Where?
I don't remember.
It was an Xbox game.
Yeah. I think I played it on your Xbox.
No. Well, there was no demo, but I have it.
Well, then I must have played your actual game.
I played it for 30 minutes. It was fun the whole time. And then I realized...
And then you got tired of it?
Well, I mean, it was fun because you run around shooting everything. You're jumping through the air, and then you drop a Titan down. And then you realize you're just shooting everybody in a Titan. Well, it's fun because you can rampage players not in a suit. Once another Titan gets on the battlefield, it's just FPS again. Standard FPS. Like I said, it's a little mix, but it wasn't anything enough to keep me coming back. But it wasn't by any means a bad game.
It was a $60 game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
You've heard my take on it. I got enough time out of it that I didn't feel entirely gypped.
Entirely, just a little
bit. Because the game was fun enough that it's if I ever wanted to pick it up, I wouldn't be disappointed.
Fair enough.
I wouldn't be disappointed with my playtime. With a lot of games I buy now, I play an hour, and I'm kind of okay, so I played 8 hours. That's what it took to pay for the game. Ooh. It was worth the money, but
one game that absolutely
I don't want to play it anymore.
One game that was absolutely not worth the money, and I felt So, like, was the Dissidia NT.
Maybe they should have just brought the arcade cabinets here.
That actually would have been better, because I could just play, like, once, but like, oh,
nobody in America is going to be like, $1 to play a game? No. In Japan, they're kind of like $1 to play a game?
That's
All right,
cheap.
we got this.
That's cheap.
$3? I'm here. Like, seriously, like, some of their games get expensive.
They were. They're fun, though.
Which
I
you
don't
have
know.
to play for a long time relative to what you pay, though.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Couple
it was
rounds.
justified.
Like, the matches are about 20 minutes.
Oh, that's justified.
You get to play a couple.
20 minutes for $1?
Yeah, that's
I
justified.
mean, sometimes it can be as quick as 3, depending on who kicks your ass. But
you got to do a couple rounds, usually.
But I thought, like, given what we did get to play for the cost, it was cool. And in Japan, they offer you a way to save. Like, some of the, like, I wish I shot more video in the arcades. Like, they had really awesome strategy games in the arcades. Like, they had this whole game where it was like a table about, from me to Laura, cut about this wide. And it was a card game. But then there was another game using that same table, and what you did is you directed troops on a battlefield with a touch screen. So, like, you would literally be like, you're a general, you'd circle your troops, and you'd put them, and you'd point to where they would go, and it would play the battle out.
Shadow's got a point, too, here real quick.
Yeah.
He said it'll be hard for someone to volunteer to take a hit for companies to keep them floating, which is true. I mean, no one's going to want to do that.
I'll take the hit. I'll do it.
Oh, I wouldn't want it. I mean,
throw it on me. I'll take it.
No, and that addresses entirely the lose situation. It's not going to be somebody volunteering to take that hit. I know companies are going to have to. They're going to have to cut if they want to continue. If they want to continue making fun and enjoyable games
and not tank their
and
entire company,
still make money.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a whole other side. Public trading companies. I mean, public trading, I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's good and bad. It has a habit of increasing greedy people. Or, I'm sorry, attracting greedy people. Whereas privately owned businesses, at least you're greedy within your own company. You're not attracting somebody who buys out 40% of your shares and then threatens to sue you guys or put an injunction on you when your shares don't return their doubled profits over. So, I mean, investing can be a nice thing within their, I don't know, I think investors' rights and incentives to just grow things become gross in their own right. I'm still working and developing my thoughts there, but every time I see companies go public, that's when it seems to be that things tend to get worse. Because you have a legal obligation to shareholders to make a profit and to not lose money. And there are legal remedies afforded to shareholders. So I'm very torn there. Like, you know, if I had a company and I ever went public, I would do my damnedest to retain majority share. And I don't mean just like I have 40% and everyone else has less than that. I mean I maintain controlling share. And I would probably do a lot of stock buybacks. But, you know, at the same time, if I were running a big company like that, I'd be doing my best to put more money in my employees' pockets. And I'd be trying not to balloon my business too fast so as to get work to a point where you can't do it, you know? Like with Blizzard having to lay all those people off, apparently what they were laying off was a bunch of, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but like essentially a desk jockey, people doing telephone support, things that when they shut down certain parts of the studio, now they got 2 or 3 people doing the same job. You have to cut some of those people. It's not financially responsible to maintain them all. And the part that sucks about that is it happens because they rapidly expand, and then when the market falls out from underneath them, you know, now you gotta make somebody's day bad. And I think there's gotta be a way we can find a way to grow companies more responsibly. Response in this case is obviously a moral issue, and somebody may or may not agree with. So I would say there's got to be a better way to grow companies.
Yeah. Shadow said you can only hope investors are interested in your business from a product standpoint. not just seeing numbers go up. But that's the problem, is a lot of them are just interested in seeing those numbers go up.
Yep.
That's where the problem falls into. It's like they don't understand, like, sometimes there are bad games. There are going to be games they're going to flop. It's just going to happen. Even if you make it the best you can, there's just some games that people just aren't going to enjoy. It happens. But that's
Mario is missing.
Yeah, so you can take
on
that
the 3DS.
You can take that as you will. You can just see the numbers of, hey, well, you tanked. Well, now we're angry. Now we're gonna sue the crap out of you. Or you can take that as, well, hey, okay, this didn't work. We know what to not do next time.
Yeah.
And try to make that better, and realize that companies are trying, or at least they used to try. I don't know if they are. I'm hoping they're trying, but
giving them benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. But then I don't know. Then they get so worked up about it, and then like, oh no, well, you need to do this and this, and then that usually ends up flopping because it's not what people actually want. I don't know. I don't feel like some of the investors really know. They just want to see all the numbers go up. Probably one of the reasons there's so many microtransactions and things, because it makes those numbers go up.
And again, that's kind of my point. Is
it
all ties back to microtransactions.
So we didn't really get to hit on it, but we do have to end this, unfortunately.
What, the Switch thing?
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't matter. That's something I can say in a statement.
Yeah, let's add it real quick.
The Switch was literally hundreds of units from overtaking the PS4 lifetime sales in Japan. I just thought that was an epic thing to note. That by this time, at least if not today, sometime next week, its lifetime sales will have surpassed the entirety of the PS4 in Japan.
Hey, hon, write this down. He said maybe for talk for on another show, probably either like Monday or next week. But he wants to know what we think of crowdfunding instead of publicly traded companies. So that's probably
crowdfunding is a sticky pickle, considering I've been a part of a lot.
Let's talk about that next time.
Let's talk about
crowdfunding next time. That way we have some time to kind of talk about it and think about it. But unfortunately, yeah, I do have to go to work, so I don't have time.
Okay.
To expand on that further.
Well, thank you, everyone, for being here. We appreciated your time and you listening to us gab and throw out incomplete thoughts, and sometimes, in my case, incoherent thoughts. But
this is a good show.
It's always fun. It's always enjoyable. I enjoy spending the morning, with.
We have a bet going on now
with us. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And she's going to pay dearly for it.
I'm not, because that's just how I feel. I told you why I felt that way. I'm already burnt out on games.
But what are the stakes?
I didn't make any stakes.
Then it's not a bet.
Well, I didn't buy any.
It's still a bet.
Okay, it's not a bet if there aren't stakes. So
Walmart was out.
Yeah, whoever loses has to buy a steak.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dad joke.
But
and just so we're clear here, not wooden stakes. You're not going to show up with stakes and be like, I got them.
I got them.
No.
I got you, bro.
All right.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to come with a printout of a steak instead. Like, here you go. I'll draw you one.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
See ya.